Good evening, guys and gals. Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday night live stream. Glad everybody could make it. Got a pretty big full house already here on the stream. I'm glad to see everybody out here. Woo! And we got somebody's laptop or iPhone, as always. We got a pretty good show tonight for you. We're going to be going a little bit over some bullet seating, and we're going to go over some gas check seating. So we're doing a seating press type stream. Sure, a seating stream. But let's go with that. We got a special guest today. We got my laptop or my. So we got NYC Reloader. How you doing today, sir?
Hey guys, how are you? Nice to be here again.
We got Jamie and Chico on us with us. We won't have Kyle on tonight, as far as I know. I think he is out in the field doing all kinds of field type such stuff. So if everybody wants to say hey, and we'll send it around.
Hey guys and girls, thanks for being here Friday night live stream. And I just want to say thanks for being here for everyone. Thanks for having me on as always, guys.
Guys, welcome to another Friday night live stream. Hope everybody has a good time with us tonight. It's finally time to decompress, and I want to do a special thanks to Mr. Kevin, Mr. New York City Reloader. Thanks for being with us tonight, buddy. And let's see how much fun we can have in a legal manner.
Absolutely. So also be here with you guys again.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, man. I think Kyle went to a family birthday party, but I'm not sure.
Oh, I thought he was down in the Grange or whatever, right? Okay. Fair enough. Got to do with the family stuff.
I'm thinking here in a few more minutes he's going to be wishing he was in LaGrange. If his family's anything like mine, I love them. I'd love them dearly, every single one of them. But when you put them all together, you know, all at one time, it's kind of like sensory overload.
Man, I feel that. It's been a long time since I had the family all together, but I usually end up finding a corner somewhere to go hide with with those that are quiet minded as well.
As we like to say here, family in small doses won't kill you.
Yeah. So we got I'm seeing 24 on. Chico, you want to give it a little bit of a run through there?
Sure, definitely. Let me send this. Okay, first up, and I'm showing from 627. Vanessa Kitty, Jeremy Gunslinger, Big Al. We got NYC Reloaders in the room. Blue Hiller 260. Pamela Earp. I say that right. Daniel God is my judge. William C. Chaplin, Jesse B. Outdoors, James Pollard, Larry K. Webb. We got the Reloading Press here in the room. And we got plenty more. And I'm just a strolling Kingpin, Tacos and French Fries.
I love that name.
We got JH586 in the room. Gun Loving Grandpa. Seven Wonders, Thoughts of an Old Soldier, Michael Sines. And I'm still strolling to make sure I don't miss anyone. Echo and the Bunny Man, hello, brother. Edward Petty, Floyd Hicks, Tin Man, Andy 79Z28, Chris 338, and that is all I'm showing at this moment. Thanks, guys, for being here, guys and girls, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really kind of cool to see how that part has developed lately. You know, it used to be that Vanessa was the only woman that we had that was watching, and now it seems like I see more and more, which is awesome.
Yep.
I'm really and guys, let you to know this is something we've talked about in the past. If there's a viewer out there, a female viewer out there watching that wouldn't mind jumping on with us for a little while, we'd love to have you on and kind of talk with you and see about your perspective on reloading and how you got into it. So, Kevin, what you had going on, brother? I know you were doing some a very intricate giveaway.
Yeah, I'm doing a couple of cool giveaways. Actually, I'm going to be announcing a third one soon. But I should probably get the 400 before I announce the one for 1,000, right? I think that's probably a better idea. I'm doing a Frankfurt Arsenal deep primer. One of those handy primers. I don't know if any of you guys have one, but it's one of my favorite
Jimmy has
toys.
one.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite toys to sit in front of the TV and deep prime some cases and stuff, you know. And I'm going to give one of those away at 400. And then I got another one going on at 500 where I'm giving an AR-15 trigger group, a really high-end one. So they get to choose between the Ghost one or the Black Tactical. So they can choose whichever one they want. Then I've got a really big one coming up at 1,000. I have to give credit to those guys at the Brass Outlet. I'm not a shill. I give reviews. If they have me review something, I review it, some of his products and stuff. And I told him, I said, look, if you want to sponsor or something, that's great, but I'm not going to give you a good review when it's a bad product. Integrity is important to me, and I won't sell my integrity. He goes, no, I wouldn't want you to do that either. So, you know, he's a good guy. He's a subscriber. He likes to read my stuff. I talk to him all the time on the phone. I buy a bunch of stuff from him. So he was cool enough to go ahead and say, hey, I saw you got 300. I'd love to, you know, give a gift away at 500 for you. Then he called me back a couple of days later because like 15 people bought stuff from him, which was kind of cool. And, you know, then he called back and he wanted to do one for 1,000. 1,000 one's going to be really cool. 1,000 subscriber. That may take a couple years.
Yeah, you never know how it kind of sometimes things like that blow up.
Yeah.
I think my jump from 3 to 5 happened pretty fast. I think I'm probably somewhere around, I don't know, low 5s now, but I haven't been making a lot of videos. So I do know one of the things I've found, I don't want to get into YouTube business too much because I know it bores everybody, but when you go to if you go to making 3 videos a week, somehow or another their algorithm picks up on that and you start getting a lot more suggested. Yeah, so that made a big difference. At one point I was doing 3 videos a week, but granted I got burned out. So
yeah,
That's that balance you got to walk, man.
yeah,
I was up to 325, and unless I said something wrong and pissed somebody off, I dropped like 10 people. So, you know, and I noticed that when I went to some other channels that I've been watching for years, I was unsubscribed from them too. So I think YouTube's playing games there too, you know, dropping users off, as I've said in my last video.
yeah, I've there's definitely some of that cleaning house that happens, and I have to resubscribe to people every once in a while. Go through go through the list and be like, wait a minute, where's everybody at? But it's funny, you know, you said the YouTube playing games because there's people that I'm subscribed to that I probably haven't watched a video of theirs in 5 years. You know, so I don't know how much they're doing that off of activity, but it looks like Big Al's ordered himself a Dillon 650. Congratulations on the big blue, brother. That's a big deal. I look forward to seeing some of that action.
Oh yeah.
Hey Scott, how's it going, brother?
Welcome to the club with the Dillon.
Well, I'll tell you what, Big Al, and you fellow Dillon people, I am sort of in the club. I have sent the money. I have not received the press yet, so I'm looking forward to it.
Is that the same one I sent you the link for?
No, this was another one. That guy wouldn't sell to me because he didn't want to ship. And that's fine. You know, everybody's got their own thing. So I ended up finding a guy off of Arms List in Arizona. And he had a bang-up deal on a Dillon 450. It had the priming system on it, no powder system, which is actually fine by me. And I kind of wanted the 450 anyway, so I was able to pick that up, and I had to do a money order type thing, which is fine. And now I'm waiting to get that. He built this really beautiful crate for it. I don't know. I used a crate for something else. It was awesome. So I'm looking forward to getting it. I'm going to do a whole rebuild on it because it's been sitting for a while. I'm probably going to try to find a way to mount a standard type powder measure on like a swivel to be able to use, because I don't. Here's the thing with Dillons for me. I like Dillons as far as a machine. I think they're really, really reliable and they're really cool. But the problem is that the way that they're built in such a way to lead you to spend $1 billion for every caliber you want to load for. And that's one of the reasons why I like the 450. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to be buying tool heads. And if I'm not buying tool heads, then I'm not going to be buying powder measures for every one I load, you know? And I kind of like that to some degree. It's like it cuts down on the cost.
That makes sense.
Now, does that 450 use? Is that 450 like the what's the one that gotta have their own dies?
Well, that's
Great deal.
a junior, I think is what they call that. It's either a 450 junior.
Square deal or something.
Square deal, Chico.
Yeah, the square deal B is the same way. No, the 450 is a 550 without the removable tool head, and it was originally set up with a manual primer system and a manual powder drop. So, yeah, exactly. Curtis says I'm drinking the unsweetened Kool-Aid, which is exactly the kind of guy I am. I like the taste of blue. I don't like the taste of sugar.
Sweet and low, huh?
Yeah.
While we're kind of moved on from the giveaway thing, but my buddy Thoughts of an Old Soldier's having a giveaway tomorrow. So if y'all want a chance to win his giveaway, you need to get over and watch his video and get signed up.
Absolutely. It's a really good channel if you guys don't know.
He's giving away his book, giving away 2 of his books autographed, and I don't know what the third prize is. Nobody does except probably him and maybe his wife. But tomorrow at 7 o'clock on YouTube, he's already got the notification for the video out there. I went and set the reminder. I'm entered in the giveaway. I'd love to win one of your books, Soldier. OP, you need to get in touch with me, buddy. You won second prize in our video in our giveaway last week, and I need to check up and see what's going on with you, man. So hit me up on Slack when you get time.
Or Headspace.
Either or. Man, remember last week we was talking about Headspace and how fun it was and all that crap, and I had 2 posts up, and one of them I did from work. I only had 2 posts, I mean, seriously, but I was in there commenting and checking everybody else's stuff out, and then I did that post from work, and all it was a picture of me with a dead deer that I killed back in 12. It was the first decent deer I killed after I started back hunting, but got back home and people were commenting on it, and I was getting notifications that people were commenting on my post, and I'd get the email, click the link in the email, and there was no post there. So I don't know if that was something that happened with the filter at my work or something went on, but I contacted Mr. Bacon, and he said, no, he ain't deleted anything. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't figure you did. I'm just telling you, both of my posts disappeared. So
sorry to hear
yeah,
that.
I can put a little insight on that probably. So like when I joined, which was like 2 days after it came online from when they first started it, and I posted some pictures and people commented on it, and I went back to like my feed, my page, and it was gone. So I'm assuming, and I started to contact Bacon, I'm assuming it does like Slack, after you hit so many messages,
Shouldn't
it erases it out.
Yeah, it shouldn't be, brother.
Yeah, because I posted some pictures and people was commenting on it, and actually the lead picture when I got that new mode, and I was showing my lead bars, yeah, that one's gone. So I'm just thinking maybe it disappears after so many people fills up the server or something. I'm not sure.
Well, there was that issue. There was an issue there for a little while with pictures, and that might have had something to do with it too. Jeremy Gunslinger asked us when our giveaway is up. We are going to be doing the drawing for that next Saturday. So if you're interested in the 45 long Colt loading menagerie of coolness from the Georgia Shooting Connection 1-year anniversary, go on to Headspace. There's a comment on both my section and on the Georgia Shooting Connection group. Go ahead and just throw your name in the hat, and we will be doing that drawing next week for that. Would love to have all of yous jumping in there if you wanted to. You know,
And is there a reason why it's going to be next Saturday?
that was just the plan at first. If you wanted to change that, Jamie, I'm fully on board with that. But that was kind of, we were going to go 2 weeks, is what I just figured.
Yeah, but we're on Friday nights.
Oh, Suge Night. Yeah, Friday, guys, not Saturday. What am I talking about? Thanks, Jamie.
We are doing it on our show, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just lost my mind. Like I said, my brain is not good today. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Man,
But
it's been a week, guys. I mean, it's been a week. I'm so glad to finally let my hair down. It's unbelievable. We got Ozark. There's Daniel.
Let your beard down, you mean?
Yeah, let my beard down. Just there's a commercial come on a while ago, and this lady says, "Doing a wizard beard out of soap bubbles is hard. Just grow one."
That's funny.
And for her, it would be even harder. Anyway.
So, guys, one of the things that happened this week for me is I went on Jeremy Gunslinger's his live stream on, I think that was what, Wednesday? Tuesday? Heck, I don't remember. Anyway, guys, if you're not a subscriber, haven't checked out Jeremy's video, please do so. He's a really good guy. I was doing some kind of crazy ghost maneuver where you couldn't see me, but you could hear me, which was kind of cool. You know, I could work in the shadows, but Jeremy's a really nice guy, and check out his channel. He does some interesting stuff. Oh, Fuzzy, it's your birthday in May, brother. That's awesome. Well, happy birthday to you, belated or early. I would make a joke about your age, but it's probably been overdone. Tuesday. So Jeremy's live stream is on Tuesday. There was it was me, Michael Signs, and Warsaw Patriot, and Jamie's gotten on that a couple times, and it's a good time. Good information, especially being if any of you are interested in black powder. Jeremy knows a lot about it. I know diddly squat about it. I know that it's highly combustible. Doesn't like sparks and such. That's about the extent of my knowledge.
Daniel, I don't go back quite that far, buddy. Yeah. He's calling me Merlin, asking if King Arthur was cool or not.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I mean, you know, you cast spells, right? You do your thing.
No, I don't do stuff like that.
Did you guys see that post by Josh on Headspace about the it's like a little talk show thing, and it brings you into YouTube video right at this point where this little story gets told? Boy, I don't want to give it away, but if you guys haven't seen that, go look at it. 243 Outdoors posted on Headspace, and it had me rolling. I haven't laughed that daggum hard. I was at work too, and I just plugged it in and just played it and listened to it. My boss came around the corner and he asked me if I was all right. I couldn't hardly breathe. I was laughing so hard. One of the funniest things I have heard in a long time. So go ahead and give that a check.
We got.
I definitely will. I seen it, and I think I kind of got distracted and had to do. I think I was at work and started on it, and then I was like, "Hey, we need this car." I was like, "Okay."
Woohoo, 47 friends in the side chat. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you all coming out.
Well, I don't know if y'all seen, and because I haven't put a video, but I did put it on Headspace and on my Instagram. So I recently, this week, took a new shoot, first time shooter ever, the range. And just so happened to be a woman. And this woman just so happened to be my baby sister. And she had been telling me for like the last 2 years, like, "Hey, I want to go shooting." I'm like, I'm just blowing off, like, "You don't want to go shooting." And then I had some free time. I said, "Hey, you meet me at the range?" She was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I got to find my shooting bag. Where's my shooting bag at?" You know? And she did extremely well. But I think that and I'm not bragging, I think that all goes back to I was being like OCD talking about the safety. Look, keep your finger off the trigger, keep it down range. And then when we went to the range, I showed her. I said, look up, look at this. Look, while you see bullet holes in the sides, that's because some person wasn't practicing safety. But yeah, if you if you're on Headspace, you probably would have seen a post where I posted her shooting my Henry 22 rifle. So, but I let her shoot my 9s too. So that was kind of my highlight of the week. I felt like a proud big brother.
I'm kind of a gun evangelist. I try to take as many first-time shooters to the range as possible, especially the people that are anti-Second Amendment. I say, wait, why don't you come with me? Then you can form an opinion. Why don't you shoot a gun? Come over my house. I'll show you a little safety, and then come over. And I'd tell you, I'd say 8 out of 10 of those people become converts. Hey, it's not so bad. Yeah. It's actually pretty fun. So
yeah, my sister's
some
in the
minds and hearts.
Yeah, there's definitely. She's in the nursing industry, so she was like, I don't see how people like pop. I was like, but I asked her when we left. I said, would you do it again? She was like, yeah, I want to go back. So I was like, that's sold, you know. So I think as long as she knows the safety, and I told her continue to practice and be safe about it always. First thing I said, every gun is loaded, even if you know it's unloaded. And I explained to her because I rented a 22 pistol, because I had my 22 rifle. I don't own this 22 pistol. And I was telling her, did she see how the guy at the gun shop, when he racked it and checked the chamber and gave it to me, and then as soon as I got it, I racked it and checked it. I said, that's just a habit. I said, when people hand me a empty gun and I know it's empty, I check the chamber too. It's just safety I kind of built into my mindset. So, but she did well. But that's my highlight.
Hemi Scrub asked what Chico's Instagram is. It is Chico Wise.
That is true.
I kind of use my evangelist skills on the people that are anti-Second Amendment, and it works. You know, we all have to do that. Promote people understanding firearms and understand how this country was formed and founded. You know, if it wasn't for guns, there would be United States. And it was everyday citizens who won that freedom, and everyday citizens who have maintained and kept that freedom since. Very important.
Thanks, Pamela Irk, for stopping by. Definitely will keep David in our prayers. Yes.
Yeah, we all say that at times, don't we?
Oh, man. I hate to hear that about Idaho Rogers.
Yeah.
Pamela, keep us updated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Idaho's a great dude, man. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I hate to hear about him being sick.
Yeah.
Don't pray for him.
Absolutely.
His prayer works.
Off topic, or kind of getting on another side there. Did you guys see the video that Kyle put up about the pewter frog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another one that had me laughing like a fool. Like, not only that exists in the world, but that someone stumbled across it is just amazing. And how perfect that is. The pipe and everything. Anyway, guys, I think that's on Headspace too. Go take a look at that. Kyle's got that little video of an unpackaging. Might have been on TRN proper. And take a look at that. That's just funny. Mig, what's going on, brother?
We had a MiG sighting.
Yeah. And it was a little bit more than a hi bye. So I hope you're able to hang out tonight.
It's Fuzz Fork too.
Yeah, it has been a week, man. I know Jamie said his week was rough. Mine was weird, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Andy, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Mm.
I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I have several 30 caliber molds. So let me just run them down right quick. I have the Lee C309 180 round nose. I've got the NOE 311 165 flat point. and it looks like that. And the cool thing about that mold is if you look at that bullet, you can see that it's a gas check design. One cavity is gas checked and the other one's a plain base. I also have the 309, 170 flat point that's made for the 30-30. But any of those bullets will work fine in 30-06. And Willie's got a mold. Me and him were talking the other day. I talk to Willie almost every day. But Willie has a Lee 155 grain 309 spire point, however you want to say it. And it is a nice look. It might be a 155. I think it's a 155.
Yeah, it's a 155.
But that makes some. You got some bullets that you've cast with it, Kevin?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's this one here. And I cast a whole lot with these. A whole lot. Not the best way to see them is, but they're great looking bullets.
That green is a pretty color, brother.
Yeah, that mirror green is pretty awesome. Pretty good stuff. These things shoot really well, too, I got to tell you. I use them 300 blackout, 308, 30-06. 155 grain. Don't need a whole lot of power to push them out. It's two.
Yeah, I'm going to have to buy that mold. That's just a sexy looking bullet, man. I'm just here to tell you.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's a Lee mold? Is that a Lee mold?
Yeah, it's a Lee mold. It's a Lee mold. I got to tell you, I love it. It's gas checked, but it, I push them a little harder on the 308, obviously, than I do on the 300 blackout, but does a great job. One of my favorite molds.
I was looking for my inspection stickers.
Mine are Shirley.
Like, I know I gotta have a Shirley sticker somewhere, but I got a Lucille sticker. I got Lucille. I was like, I know I gotta have a Shirley somewhere. Probably. I only got 2 Lee molds, but I figured Lucille and Shirley, the inspectors.
There's another one, isn't there? Who's the other one?
I think they retired.
Oh, they returned.
Yeah, that's what Curtis said. I see somebody new in the chat I haven't talked to before. Iron Witch 1811. It says hello to us Georgians and Kevin. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for coming out. I wait a minute. Brothers is kind of I don't know if that's an assumption on my part, but if so, glad to see you. Yeah, Michael Stan says he needs to check out Headspace. It's cool, man. I'm enjoying it. I know some of the guys say that they were having a little bit of issues here and there, but we're working out the kinks. Bacon's working out the kinks. Hell, I got nothing to do with it. I can't take credit, so I'm just enjoying it. Yeah, Andy's 79Z28. Guys, if you didn't see his reloading setup tour, I thought I was organized. Not anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I was like, wow, that dude's got his stuff together. Nice setup. Real good use of the Lee presses. Just a very clean, very, very down-to-earth, like base level setup. He's got a PID for his toaster oven. That dude's serious. He ain't playing about. Mine has a little temperature dial on there that I assume is close. Yeah.
Let me get back with Andy. Yeah, I saw that video today, by the way. Very nice setup, Andy, but I don't understand why you would say you don't want a gas check bullet, because if you're running bullets at typical 30-06 velocities, I think you need a gas check. But that's just me. Maybe with powder coating, we don't need gas checks at all. But
that's not. Yeah, I don't think that's true, brother. I think it depends. Depends
I think
on.
it gets a little. I think it gets a little bit extra FPS before it becomes a problem. I've noticed that I've run them a little bit hotter than I would run lead, but I would still go with gas checks on any of the high powder rounds, any of the really flying rounds, the hot rounds for sure. Gas check is a good idea.
That's why I changed my plan on my 450. Originally, I was going to go straight to lead with my 450 Bushmaster, and I was thinking about it. And I was like, why am I doing this? I'll have 18 different things I'm testing at one time. I need to make sure this thing's functioning right and that the pressures are right and that everything's going well. So I had some XTPs, 300 grain XTPs, so I loaded those up. And then I was thinking about my next load for lead, and I was like, man, I'm pushing these right at the top of where lead will work, even with gas check or even with powder coated. When you start running it up 1,800 feet per second or more, and I watched Kenny Eagle Eye Shooting. If you guys aren't subscribed, take a look at him. I was watching his video with the Legend, and the difference between the gas check bullet and the non-gas check bullet was dramatic, right at that 1,800 feet per second and that pressure curve. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to look at trying to get there's a Lee 300 grain gas check round flat nose mold. I'm probably going to pick one of those up and start casting I'm going to try the 450 or my 450 Bushmaster with that. I'll try the ping base later, but I want to make sure I got something that's working first and then be like, okay, this isn't working. And then I can screw with it. But
I would do that too, James. I would do that too, Nathan.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like I realized, it's like, man, if this thing doesn't function, I won't know if it's this. I won't know if it's that. If it functions, but the thing, looks like it's got a shotgun spread, then I don't. It's like, why am I? One thing at a time.
I don't think I would do cast lead in that round. The brass is expensive. The barrel is expensive, and I would probably do FMJs anyway. My Lapua 338 Lapua, I don't run lead in it. It's all FMJs.
Well, I don't mind running lead in something. That doesn't tend to bother me too much, and I think the Bushmaster will take to it. And I'm going to try to do heavier bullets at slower speeds and see what it'll do and what it'll stabilize. And there's a lot of experimentation later on down the road, but right now I just want to make sure it functions and that that everything's kind of running right. Yeah, I don't know. I was messing with a. Oh, Chico, you are out of focus, brother.
Sorry, I was.
Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. I was messing with a magazine, a 222
Yeah, I have
magazine.
a video on that. I've been.
Sorry.
What I was saying about the gas check thing, even with powder coat, at 2,000 feet per second, pretty much and Nathan, you said 1,850 or somewhere around in there. Yeah, when you get up to those kind of speeds, I think you need a gas check. And I have run a 200 grain 358 flat point bullet out of my 35 Remington as fast as 2,150 feet. According to a Caldwell chronograph, that's far from a lab radar or a magneto speed or anything like that. But we use what we got, and it's all relative anyway. But yeah, I think. And Uncle Jim did a couple of videos this past week on putting gas checks on, and maybe we'll get into that in a little bit. He did some nose first and did some base first. How you would go about doing them base first with a pointed bullet like that 155 grain Spire point you got. Kevin, I don't know how you'd go about doing that.
So I missed that. What did you say about it?
I don't know how you'd go about gas checking that thing base first, but I got some props, and we can do some gas checking here, and I'll show you the difference if we can figure it out. Yeah, Caldwell's all right. But I'm kind of like Yeah, it does. I'm like Curtis, and I was thinking of some things he said about people will fuss about the Caldwell's accuracy if it's spitting out a velocity that they don't like. They'll talk about, well, it's not doing right. But then when it spits out a velocity that they do like, they'll talk about how good their loads are and stuff like that. I'm like, Curtis has got a way to cut through the fat, man. He just gets to the point, and that's one of the things I really like about Curtis.
Yeah.
There goes Mig. Hey, everyone. Bye, everyone. Stick around, Mig. And yes, Larry, it will work with lead bullets, I'm pretty sure. And what was I going to say before I said that? Brain fart.
You was talking about Kurt.
I know, but I was moving on to something else.
Oh, no, we don't know.
Okay.
It'll come back to me if it was important.
Yeah, I'm well, you guys know I don't load rifles, so and sorry, I got camera off, I'm doing something. So I got a package the other day. I'll be doing a video on it, and I've never, that looks cool to me just how it is. I don't put a gas check on a pistol. I don't even think you can. You probably can, right?
Yeah.
If the mold
Pistol
supports it.
cartridge.
I just don't see the need to a powder
See how
coating.
rookie I am. So you guys know I don't know much, but I think that's cool. But I'm still, I'm kind of slowly but surely getting stuff up. But I got this package from a nice gentleman that does an extremely well job on powder coating and gas checking and casting some bullets. I even got one without a gas check on it. And so I'm interested in like trying stuff with gas checks and trying stuff without gas checks. I think that's what y'all were just speaking on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Some people say it's needed. Some people saying it's not needed, right?
But before any of that makes any difference, Chico, you got to have a rifle to shoot them out of.
That's correct. That's correct. I know.
I
I'm
recommend
getting
the
there.
Rossi.
I promise I'm getting there.
Well,
Together, I know.
I know you want the 308 because you picked up all that 308 brass, and 308's a really good choice, but you can pick up a 30-30 lever gun that all them bullets will fit in a 30-30 as well.
Yep.
Right. That's why when I got these, I was like, I'd rather have a 30 caliber because I also have a AK 7.62 at 39, which that'll take this bullet, right?
Probably not that one.
Well, it'll take one of them, a 30 caliber bullet. So
if you was going to do that, you should have told me beforehand. I wouldn't have sized them.
That's the 7.62 is way down the road because if y'all know anything about 7.62 brass,
it's
terrible.
It's like a unicorn and Sasquatch.
And I've slowly been collecting it. When I go to the range, I say, "Ooh, that's gold right there. That is gold." And but yeah, and not only because I got the brass for the 308, but I got the dies also. I was on one of them Chico deals, so. But yeah, I definitely want to do it. I definitely will do it. I'm getting pushed. I'm just spreading my options, kind of looking around.
Yeah. Signal Soldier said Lake City brass is good for 7.62 by 39. But what you need to do there, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but typically they're going to run about 311 as opposed to American 30 caliber, which is going to run about 308. And with our cast lead bullets, we want about 1,000th bigger than the bore.
And the bore.
So yeah. So I'm thinking I've got a couple of molds that would be really good for 7.62 by 39 or 7.62 by 54R. And I've got some over here that I'm getting ready to ship to MCK. But I got to have I'm wanting to send him some of those 135 grains Firepoint. That's a 311 diameter, and it's a one cavity steel mold. So it takes a long time to cast up a bunch, and I just hadn't had time to. Every time I've had a day off that I could cast, it's been raining here. So I've been trying to get these bullets out to him for almost 2 or 3 weeks now, and every Saturday it's been raining, and I'm active in my church, so I don't have a lot of time to cast on Sunday. And when church is over with, I try to get on with the Scotsman on foreign and domestic.
Yeah.
Boy, it's a pain to size them 311s down to 309 when the BHN's pretty high. I gotta tell you.
Yeah, I can imagine, man.
You gotta lean on that press.
And you know what I would do? Here's something that sounds ridiculous, but I've seen this. If you measure your bullet length and then size it, that bullet length will be different. Because all that force will shorten that bullet. I've seen that several times.
I would think it would lengthen it. It's got to go somewhere. What is it doing? Is it contracting it?
It's basically mashing it inside of it. So it's basically compacting it, I guess. I don't know. I've had that happen. I've had that happen with 357 and for 30 cal bullets. I've had that happen where I go to seat the bullet and I look at it after I come around and it's seated way wrong. And I'm like, what the heck is wrong with this thing? And then I pull my seat and die all apart and everything else. And then I try to reset everything. And then I run it through, and then there'll be another one that'll come through that's mashed down like that. And you don't notice it. I've seen that a couple times. Even when you really have to lean on it.
So it'll be short, not longer.
Yeah, it'll be shorter. At least that's been my case. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they could go longer too, but all that force on that thing definitely will change the length on it. In my case, it's been too short.
Yeah, Michael Stein said he's been having thunderstorms every weekend too. Hey, Uncle Jim, we've been talking about you, buddy. We've been watching your bullet seat, your gas checking videos, and I was going to try to show them the difference here in a few minutes.
One of the things that I would say about gas checks before we get too far in, I suppose, is that we speak in generalities a lot of times with gas checks. It's like if you think, 1850 or 2,000 feet per second or whatever is the threshold for needing a gas check. What you're looking at is bullet-based deformation and things like that. But there's other things that go into it as well. If you're shooting in a milsurp, there's a good chance that your chamber is larger than others. And it could be that a gas check will keep down gas cutting and might help it with accuracy. It's not a hard and fast rule that a certain speed or a certain pressure, because that's the thing with gas checks, in my experience, and I could be completely full of crap, but from what I've read in my experience, that the speed of the bullet is actually a secondary to the pressure. So the pressure is what's going to deform your bullet base and possibly gas cut the corners of it and things like that. The ability for the lead hardness to hold the rifling is more of a speed thing. So we use 1,800 or 2,000 feet per second as a wag on pressure, which isn't always consistent, right? So if you're shooting a 300 grain bullet at 1,800 feet per second, that's going to take a heck of a lot more pressure, possibly, than shooting, a 30 cal out of a 7.62 by 39, or So keep in mind that it's not hard and fast. One speed doesn't equal gas check. You kind of sometimes have to dicker around a little bit.
Kind of like what Reloader 7.62 just said. It's a combination of both velocity and pressure, and it's a seesaw. You adjust one, and the other goes the other way too.
Yeah.
And also, you got to throw in your. I'm sorry, Chico. You got to throw in.
Go ahead, Jamie. I'm sorry.
We got to throw in our alloy too. How hard is that bullet? How much pressure are you expecting? The best, I know I get a lot of crap for this, but I think it's in the Lyman Cast Lead Handbook too. But one of my favorite references is the Lee Manual. It's got a page in the, I think it's chapter 10 or chapter 13. Me and Eagle Eye looked it up the other day, but it's a pressure table and relative about how hard the BHN of the bullet needs to be for this much pressure. And this might be a good time for me to try to find that. Y'all carry on. Let me find that page in my book and I'll show it to you. You know what I'm talking about, Nathan?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Fuss says he don't handle pressure well. Brother, I understand. Yeah, you know, BHN has an impact, especially with holding on to the lands, right? Well, one of the things I'm running across, and this is why all of a sudden I'm nowhere near as dependent on water quenching, is because powder coat seems to help a bullet hold lands easier. So I haven't had any land stripping or rifling stripping on any of my higher pressure rounds. And I used to have that. If I like my 41 mag, if I didn't water quench and have a good mix with a proper amount of like tin and linotype or whatever in it, you get some stripping and you get some funky stuff going on. You'd start leading in the barrel. I use gas check for my 41 mag, and that's just out of default, right? It's a pain, and I get that, Andy. I totally understand, but for me, it's just easier just to go that route because I'm shooting right at the tippity top of where I need to be, and that gives me flat bases and one less thing to have to worry about when I'm trying to shoot. One of the guys back here wanted to mention, all right, one of our newer, or one of the viewers I haven't talked to before. What was his name? Oh, hold on just a sec, guys. Let me look this up because Michael Stan asked about reloading classes. Jamie went to one of those not that long ago. They do have them in some regions. If you're close to an urban center, there's a chance you might be able to find one. Dylan used to go around and do those. I don't know if they still do. And as far as getting together with fellow reloaders and stuff, check on Headspace, on Slack, on TRN, find people that are close to you, and I'm telling you, they will be more than happy to have you come over and go through things. And if you're down here in Southern Georgia, brother, come on over. So
yeah, I'm going to get on private hangouts with Michael Sines and hopefully Jeremy Gunslinger too, and do some stuff. But this is what they're calling it is ultimate compression strength of a bullet. Now, see, for the new guys, and I know for most of y'all, this is old hat, so bear with me, but what's got to happen is that bullet has got to obturate. It's got to do its mushroom thing and grab hold of those lands and grooves and turn as it's going down the barrel, or it's not going to be accurate at all. Plus, you're going to get leading in your barrel and all that stuff. So in this book, Lee Modern Reloading 2nd edition, on page 107, and this is in chapter 10, so you can go and read all about it. Richard Lee put a chart right there so that you can see the maximum pressure chart for a particular BHN. And he's also listing the results of his Lee hardness tester and the size of the hole that a 5/32 inch ball at 60 pounds of pressure, the size of the dent it makes in the lead is what that's all about. But with the highest one he's got in here is BHN 36.6. His maximum pressure is 46,900 pounds per square inch. But 36.6, you're approaching full metal jacket type hardness there. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, it's a really hard bullet. Was here? Jerry 1911 asked, wouldn't it be water quenching and PC work better? One thing I want to keep in mind is a bullet can be too hard, and this is especially true with revolvers, because the bullet has to. Your cylinder throat and your barrel are going to be two different sizes, and what you want to do is you want that bullet to be able to obturate, which is what Jamie was talking about, to fill that cylinder to make sure that you get a good gas seal around that. Then it has to go through that cylinder, go bounce off the forcing cone, then find its way into the barrel, and you still want that bullet to be able to obturate to that barrel to get a good seal on those lands and grooves. So typically what you want to do is you want to run a bullet as soft as you can right before you have leading and issues. And in addition to that, when you powder coat, you lose a little bit of the hardness from water quenching. I still do it with my bullets that are going to be run at higher pressure or higher speeds, but you do lose a little bit of that hardness.
So
because
also,
the way the antimony works.
If I could add to that, Nathan, one of the things that I've noticed after watching TATV stuff is that you also have to think about a new concept called bullet weight, cast lead bullet wait time. Mm-hmm. How long you let that thing harden up. Some guys cast a bullet and he's telling me he's having problems with accuracy, and he goes ahead and casts that bullet like the next day, and it just didn't get hard enough. I said, well, wait a couple of weeks, wait a month. What's the hurry?
Yeah, TATV does a great job, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
If you guys don't know about that, TATV Canada, I don't know, is his channel still on YouTube or did he get bumped?
No, I think he's still on.
I know he was having some issues with the censor. Anyway, he does an amazing video series where I think it's over the course of a year, him casting bullets, water quenching, not water quenching, powder coating, water quenching after he powder coated, not water quenching after powder coated, and then goes over the process of time and shows you how these bullets get harder and then start to get soft again. And he just really tracks it. It is an amazing resource. If you're wanting to know more about bullet hardness and mix, because that's a big deal with that as well, right? Water quenching does not work as well with the best alloy, right? So if you go get yourself lead from, let's say roofing lead or some pure lead, and then you add a certain amount of tin and a certain amount of this, the water quenching won't make as big of a difference as it will if you're shooting like what I do, which is straight clip-on wheel weights. Because the clip-on wheel weights have a higher percentage of antimony, which is what's reacting with that water quenching and running to the outside of the bullet. So there's a lot of black magic. Read your Lyman Cast Bullet Handbook for sure. And like Jamie said, that lead book is a great source for a lot of information. I'm talking way too much.
Well, before I started reloading, I had cast, I had a friend that back when I was coaching ball a lot, and he cast. He was a bench rest shooter. He cast everything he shot, and he did all the drills, the running, the breathing, and all that kind of stuff. And he's the one who inspired me to get into casting. And I was doing a little bit of casting before I ever started reloading. But the thing about it is I read countless books and watched countless YouTube videos before I ever pulled the first handle on a reloading press. And my first press was my Lee 4-hole classic cast turret press, and I still love that press. And I don't think I'll ever not have that press. And Eagle blessed me with this progressive that I'm still learning how to use it, but I want to set it up for 940, 38, 357, and 223. And everything else I'll probably do on my rifle loading stuff, I'll do on my turret. And of course, I've got that little the little small Lee C style press, and that's what I do most of my decapping and the gas check things and all that kind of stuff. Maybe some bullet sizing. I do size my bullets on it too.
Have you had good luck with that?
I have. I've had to some points I've had to lubricate the bullets to get it to go through there.
I broke mine trying to size bullets with it.
Well, I have sized 311s, powder coated 311s down to 309 in that little thing.
My 41 caliber bullets need some pretty heavy duty sizing, and I tried to size them unlubed with powder coat because that works a lot of time. And I didn't stick the bullet, but I was pulling on it, and I ended up breaking the press. That's another one. We were talking earlier about a press not having leverage. That Lee C press does not have much leverage. So if you have an issue where you have a very soft case, like let's say a 5110, and you want to have a lot of feel, use that C press. That thing does not have a lot of mechanical leverage on it. You will feel everything. And that'll be a good one for developing that touch.
Yeah, Al, we'd be glad to have you come move to Georgia, buddy. You just come on. We'll help find you a place.
Warsaw, I'm doing good, brother. And no, I have probably no idea what you got going on this weekend.
Well, the Bullet Man just put up a video.
Yeah, Ozark's right.
I was just gonna say I've seen a lot of unboxing videos.
What's that, brother?
Say that again.
I heard Jamie say Willie put up. You said Willie just put up a video.
I didn't.
No, I'm not. Okay.
Yeah, it was an unboxing video.
Hey, Willie.
So Nathan, you said you broke a sizing die, or is that one of those bushings?
No, I broke a press.
Oh, the press. Yeah, that's gorilla. That's that much Georgia long. You've been eating some beans, huh?
No, well, that C press isn't exactly the most sturdy thing. Yeah.
Which one was it though? The classic or the lighter duty one?
It's that little C press. It's not like it's hell no. If I broke a classic, first thing you do with a classic cast, you can bend the handle on it. Yeah, it's that little C press.
This one right here.
Oh yeah. The one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to seat gas checks with that until I had problems with it.
Yep, that's what I was doing with it, was seating gas checks and then bullet sizing with it, and I broke it. So that's when I bought my Lyman single stage, was to take the place of that. I'm like, I won't break this big dog, and it's got a solid the handle on it is solid steel bar, so I'm not going to bend the handle either. I'll tear the bench apart before I get that thing to break.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I'm hoping. I mean, I'm not a destructive type person or anything like that, but if I broke that one, it'd give me an excuse to go buy a better single stage, which right now it would either be another Lee, that classic cast single stage, or that Lyman Brassmith, the big O single stage, or maybe that Rock Chucker, RCS Rock Chucker.
Hey, Jamie, is that excuse for you or for the missus? When you tell you're buying a new press.
You know the answer to that question before you ask it.
Right.
Curtis says he couldn't handle watching me build another bench. Yeah, brother, I believe you, and I agree.
Yeah, Foster Coax, Big Al. That would be nice. I just wonder how it would do with just sizing bullets out of it. Of course, you know me, I'd be loading up seating bullets for my rifle rounds in it.
I like my Lyman. Sorry, Jamie.
I'm sorry. I was just saying hey to Willie.
I like my Lyman O press. It seems to work really, really well for what I do, and I like the mechanical advantage on it. I don't know about the new ones. If the mechanical advantage is the same, if the tilt of one of the things I like is it's got a pretty hard rake on the handle, so the handle's not straight up and down; it's more off to the side, which I really like. I've got a Lee Classic cast, Jamie, we might want to talk about that a little bit later on if that's something you're looking for. You, of course, have to hit up Uncle Jim for a smiley face handle. I don't know if he's going to make any more of those, but I think that was a limited run.
Seemed like a lot of work.
Man, didn't it? But it was just like the finished
That was
product
cool.
was just so awesome. It's like,
That was
oh, I had
cool.
that skill.
Yeah.
Coach likes his All-American 8, and I know Signal Soldier liked his. But I don't know about their O press. I haven't seen that. That C press they have. I didn't care for the looks of that. I thought that thing was way, way, way weird.
Yeah.
What's that?
The new Lyman All-American C press. I didn't like it, but it's open, so it'd probably be easier for doing bullet sizing and gas check seating. It might be really easy to access, so it might be a good option. It just looked on camera. I didn't like the looks of it, but in real life, it might be.
At the small one?
It's the smallest of the new presses, but I mean, it is a chunky beast. Yeah,
It is.
It looks like, and I might be wrong. It looks like the daggum press is that thick, and I'm like, my God, what are you planning on building with that thing? But yeah, I don't know.
There's Charles Irby. Kyle's in the side chat. Hey, Kyle, we're missing you, buddy.
Hey, Charles. How you doing, brother?
Hey, Kyle. Oh, Kyle, Willie, glad to see you, brother. Where we at here? Let's take a look. We got 51 folks out there watching us babble. I'm proud of what Kevin's bringing in because that's got to be him. It certainly ain't enough. So, Jamie, you want to start on? We're at 9. You want to start getting into this gas checking deal, or do you want to go into bullet seeding? What you want to do, brother?
It won't take me long. I was Uncle Jim, if you're still out there, let me get some gas checks out of here. And I got to thank Willie Bullet Man for the gas checks. He sent them to me. I got to order some from Sages. I need some 223s and some 358s. Willie sent me some 309s. So y'all probably aren't going to be able to see this back there, but I can show you the process that of course Uncle Jim's video did very well, and I'm not disputing or trying to upstage Uncle Jim in any way. All I'm wanting to do is kind of build on and pat him on the back and kind of just give him a big amen, brother. So the way I've always gas checked is, see, this is a gas check design bullet. You see how the driving bands are bigger and the base is smaller. And I've always just took and kind of snapped them on the table, and they always go on a little bit crooked, and then but one of the things, when you do them nose up, like Uncle Jim was showing, you do them nose up, and what happens is the what do you call that? The thing that goes in the handle, what do you call that, a punch, or you call that a punch, right? Yeah. This thing right here, and you set the gas check on top of there, and it kind of pushes it up on there as you're doing the resistance from the seating, from the sizing die. And what happens is, as this is going up into the die and it's making it smaller, this thing is pushing up and it snaps on there. So you, when it's going in nose first, you kind of get it pulling down a little bit and then into the lead. You know what I mean? So what happens is, I don't have any already done up. Let me just do one. Let me just push one through here right quick and I'll show you.
While you're doing that, I also started using some of the aluminum gas checks. They seem to go on a lot easier. And I can powder coat those too, which is kind of nice.
I'm on Jim's side on that one.
What's that?
Me and aluminum oxide don't get along.
Yeah, but if you powder coat it, it's fine. It's not gonna aluminum oxide your barrel.
Yeah, most likely.
Okay, now I've not tried this. I've not pre-tested this, and I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know the answer to the question, which is a bad thing. You don't ever want to ask a question that you don't know the answer to. But I don't know if y'all can see that, but that gas check is made kind of a little cup on the bottom. And here comes Miss Trouble, right when Pawpaw's trying to talk.
I'm a BJ. I'm a BJ. I'm a BJ.
You are.
I'm a BJ.
She's got a clothes basket on her head, y'all. But let me try one the other way. You can see that see how it makes the little cup down at on the bottom? Y'all have all experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that in my mind. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, I mean, you want a flat base, right? Because it's going to have an impact when the bullet exits the muzzle. Now, hopefully, and this is where I kind of agree. That's why I'm like, I'm not saying no. Most likely, in reality, that pressure from that round is going to flatten that out. Because you're putting, 20,000 PSI plus on the base of that bullet, which is more than you're going to do on your little press. And it's most likely going to flatten that gas check out. But, conventional wisdom is you want it flat.
Yeah, and when you put it in, when you do it base first, it takes a lot more pressure to get it through there.
Brother, ain't that true?
And it didn't even push it on there straight. That got whopped up. Let me try another one. And see, I just pulled it right off with my thumb. That was weird.
They also make thinner copper ones too, which are nice.
I know some of the guys back in the day on the Cast Bullet Forum were punching circular discs out of copper or whatever, and then super gluing it to the base of the bullet. You talk about some tedious stuff.
Yeah.
But they said it was actually faster. They just lay out all these, all their little discs, and then put a little drop of super glue on all of them, and put the bullets standing up. That was it. So they weren't prepping on, they weren't doing anything. But that was on a non-gas check style bullet. I don't know if they're still doing that or not, but. Say hey to my brother Bacon out there in the side chat. We've been talking a little bit about Headspace. I think there's been some disappearing, reappearing post issues we might want to talk about later. I know Jamie said he's having a little bit, and I think Chico was as well. Yeah, I'm with you, brother. Time to find some grub. I have a horrible habit right now of not wanting to eat until later. I've been a getting off work and eating guy for the longest time. And now all of a sudden I'm wanting to push it off till 6, 7 o'clock. Now it's going to be probably 10:30 before I find something to chew on.
Oh, my experiment failed. I can't push them in base first, even with a flat point bullet. And I don't know why. These have already been sized, I think, or I thought, but maybe they haven't. But I'm getting them all crooked up there like that.
Huh.
So mine ain't working well base first, Uncle Jim. Maybe I need to do what he was doing on that video, make sure I get them mashed all the way down on there real good before I put them on there, but I'll keep working with it. We'll figure it out. There's Uncle John.
Could be an altitude thing, Jamie.
Do what, Kevin?
Could be an altitude thing.
Yeah, just
Yeah, okay.
Way too much air pressure down here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Coach Brothers Firearms says he likes to flare gas checks first, then run them on through the bullet side through the Lyman 450. That's one of the things I do. I'll do that from time to time. My 41 mag kind of needs that. I do most of it on the Lyman 450. 450. It's not a 4500. The 4500 is RCBS, I think. I don't know, whatever. I'll do that quite a bit because it helps getting it on flat and gets a good crimp and doesn't want to, but I like to use my Cobra any chance I get. So I still do a lot of it.
You saw my Cobra right here.
Yes, sir. That's good stuff, man.
I started sizing on.
Go ahead, Kevin. I'm sorry.
No, I started sizing on my little RCBS Summit press, and I couldn't use the big old Lee cup that it pushes into. So I wound up shifting to using my my bullet cedar die for the type of base, for the flat base or for the pointed base. And I use that, and I use the other one underneath it. And that seems to do a good job of, on the little RCBS press. Because there's no place to put that cup, that red cup that's just upside down. There's just no room for it.
Yeah.
But I guess I think somebody did a video recently. It might be even Uncle Jim using the bullet cedar die instead of dropping it into the Lee cup.
Yeah, well, that bullet cedar die trick is kind of cool because it helps get you a good match with your bullet, and it helps you get the gas check seated onto the shank without actually being crimped. So you still have to go through some form. That's where I would use my Lyman if I had the sizing die to use that. If I didn't, do the other, but
yeah, that's the step I'm missing is using the bullet seam die to push them up on there.
And that came from Kenny, and that was some genius stuff. That is such a simple, obvious thing that I never looked at and never thought of until I saw Kenny do it. I'm like, I'm an idiot, How much time have I screwed around trying to get a gas check to seat onto the shank flush and even and did all kinds of crazy stuff, and all I had to do was use a bullet seat and die, which is like, duh, man. Kenny comes up with some amazing, like, simple, obvious, really good solutions to problems like that. Yeah, Kurt, same difference, using a seat and stem and a drill press. We got Georgia Boy on here. Yeah, Chico, you want to run through, or you want me to do it, brother?
Let me bring it back up because I have to refresh every so often.
Yes, sir.
I'm still current. Yeah. So we got there it goes. This one I was finna read. It said do. Okay. NYC reloaders in the room. Jesse B Outdoors, Ocean 374, William C. Chaplin, PC Bullet Empire, Coach Brothers Firearms, Vanessa Kitty, Lowe's of Bacon, Georgia Boy 44, Uncle John, Walter Davis, Jerry 1911, Michael Sines, James Pollard, Willie Bullet Man, Charles Irby, the Reloading Press is on the panel with us. Echo and the Bunny Man. Oh, Michael Stan is out there still. Charles Irby. Kyle Lust showed up. Big Al. Who else? Reloader 762. Hemi Scrub. Did I say that right? Yeah, Hemi Scrub. James Pollard, if I missed them, and Thoughts of an Old Soldier. Y'all know I'm gonna mess this up, and I gotta get it right. Ambiguity. Did I get it right?
That's close, bro. That's real close.
Hey, brother. Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss anyone. Andy's 79Z28 still out there. Last I checked. And Warsaw Patriot. Jeremy Gunslinger. And that is all I'm seeing on my last refresh.
Well, guys, we appreciate everybody coming out for darn sure. It's a good time to sit here and talk and talk with Kevin. It's been a while since we've We've had him on. So what else you got going on there, brother? You doing any reloading? You doing any crazy bullet seating? You bought any cool equipment?
Well, looking at some new guns. Been trying to figure out whether I want a 450 Bushmaster or SOCOM. I'm thinking about a straight wall cartridge because that gives me a lot more hunting opportunities here because the laws have changed with straight wall cartridges versus bottleneck cartridges. So there's definitely leaning towards 450, but man, I do like the thought of that SOCOM. It's pretty sweet, and I can get some brass in the local police departments where I can't get the 450 Bushmaster brass for free. Stopped by the police range the other day, picked up a whole new box of brass, just all sorts of sizes, and it's when you're paying for that brass that really sometimes makes a decision what kind of gun you're going to get, the availability of brass.
I'm going to tool around with trying to see if I can make 450 Bushmaster out of something else.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really started the process yet, but when I do, I'll make some videos or something on it. But it's probably going to have a lathe involved, which I know a lot of other guys don't have that option. But so far, just I made up some dummy rounds and I was hand running them through my AR. It is chewing brass up to beat in, man.
Yeah.
Just scratching it all up and just it. And I'm like, that's kind of just the nature of the beast. I mean, I could get in there and probably do a lot of polishing work and stuff like that, maybe get it better, but ARs are hard on brass, man.
Yeah. I agree. So as far as some of the things I'm doing, I'm I've always made my my rounds, my rifle rounds, pistol rounds to shoot pretty hot, but now I'm going the other direction and focusing on making a lot of rounds shoot light, just plinking rounds. Going with some tight group on my 9mm, doing 3 or 4 grains of that. Doing the same thing on 223, making some plinking rounds. The range I have indoors is only 100 yards, so why am I loading to shoot 500 or 600? So plus I can run cast bullets in them, so it makes a whole lot more sense to start reloading. And as long as I powder coat them a different color, I'll make the ones that are green and red as hot loads, and the blues will be the plinking rounds, and that way I'll know.
Yeah, dude, that's a smart bet, and that's one that I think some of us tend to forget. If you're shooting at 100 yards or whatever, it's like, why are you running that so daggum hot for target shooting?
You're putting an expensive bullet. You're putting an expensive, full metal jacket bullet on there, especially shooting some larger rounds, and you're throwing, 20 cents worth of powder in there, as opposed to, at 3 grains of tight group, you can load a whole lot of 9mm, or a whole lot of 223s with 1 pound. When I start going through these giant 8-pounders of CFE 223 for doing my 223 and my 308, it's economics. Quite honestly, most of the animals I've killed, I've shot in the 100-yard zone anyway. So, that's just the way. That if I was in a place like where it's flat, where I am, we've got the Catskill Mountains, so I'm always shooting off a ridge. I'm shooting from a tree. In a blind or something. So, why am I loading to shoot something 500, 600, 1,000 yards away when it doesn't make any sense?
For hunting, the only thing that would be my concern is like whether or not the bullets are working at that speed. If the bullets are working and expanding correctly and doing their business at that speed, you're good to go. Because some of the bullets now seem to be more designed for that ridiculous speed. I don't know how to explain that. It's just
right.
I know some of those older interlocks would expand fine at a reduced, pressure, but now, and I'm a Hornady guy. I don't know a lot about, the other bullet makers, but I know Hornady, those interlocks are really good for that, but it seems like the new ones.
Yep.
They like that speed, brother.
I do love them. I do love my Hornady SSTs for sure. And I also don't go for, a lot of guys go for really heavy rounds. When I'm shooting deer, and I can take a deer on with a 300 blackout or a 308 with a 155 grain bullet, I'm not going to shoot it with much more. If I'm shooting a hog, then I might consider a big hog, then I might consider something a little more powerful. But Quite
Yeah.
honestly, there's just not a need for it.
Yeah, I found for target shooting purposes, I'm sure this is more me than it is anything else. I found some reduced loads and some, especially my milsurps, that are more accurate than anything I'm going to be able to do at the top.
Yeah.
Because there's just too many inconsistencies in the rifle that when you're running at the top, you're going to have, and it's basically muzzle inconsistencies. But when you're running it, a little bit reduced, all of a sudden I'm shooting sub MOA with a gun that shouldn't be doing that. And some of that's probably me because I'm probably a little bit more comfortable behind a gun that's less of a,
I spend money on some things, and other things I'm a little cheap on. So when I'm running my rifle rounds and pistol rounds, I don't run them in my Hornady manual where they're in the red zone. I usually run them 2 or 3 columns back, just to extend. I don't need it to be running at 3,400 foot per second. I'm okay with it running at 27 or 2,800 foot per second, and my brass likes it because I've got one set of brass, 100 rounds, that I have reloaded these about 39 times, the same 223s, and I just doing it only because the fact that I can do it, not because there's a should do it, but I'm nailing it every other reload, and they've just been lasting forever. And if I ran them full speed, I don't think I'd get that. And the side problem has been that I don't have enough brass to cut for 300 blackout anymore. When I cracked the bottleneck, it's great. I throw that in the 300 blackout pile, I get excited. I say, I crushed the case, set a new die, and I'll just throw that in that bucket, and then I know I'm going to cut that down and turn it into 300 blackout. But that's the problem. I don't have enough cases for a blackout. But I found a source for if you do 300 blackout, you cut them, convert them down. I found a really good source, Capital Cartridge, to buy the 223 blanks, and they almost give them to you. It's crazy. They're so cheap because nobody wants them. I cut them off, convert them to 300 blackout, and they're great.
Yeah,
they're like a quarter of the price of regular 223 brass.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it was Michael Stan asked about, I think it was him that asked about brass life earlier on the night. And like you said, brother, I mean, I've got brass that's almost 30 years old because I've run it at, and when I say reduced, I'm talking about what Kevin's talking about. You see your max load, I'm 2 or 3 below that, 2 or 3 columns below that. And I'll run it a little bit light. I'll anneal when I need to. I don't oversize if I don't have to, and I've got brass that's almost 30 years old and still doing its thing. Now I have run into in the past, and I think some other people have run into, where a little bit of a chemical reaction of loaded brass can get to you, where you have loaded brass sitting around for 10 years and that brass gets real hard. And I've heard of that a couple times. I don't know what the science is behind that, but perfectly good brass having head separation issues because it sat loaded too long. So I'm trying to, make sure I don't do that. But I don't have a ton of ammo loaded either. I know guys that have millions of. I remember there was a guy on the Cast Bullet forum who made fun of me because I had powder and primers. He's like, if you have powder and primers and empty cases, you should have loaded ammo. I'm like, all right, man. And I mean, he had like millions of cases loaded. I'm like, all right, brother. I'm like, I ain't that guy. I like having my components, I think.
Yeah.
Andy had 16 pounds of tight group sitting up there. And I'm like, brother, I know that's going to last you forever. And if you're using that like 9mm and 38 special, that's all you're going to need.
You know what? It's when you get into the large cases. I had a buddy of mine asking me, a reloader that I met around here is asking me, hey, I want to shoot. I'm getting older and the kick is killing me on my 300 Win Mag, and I want to do a reduced load like you do. Man, it took me a long time to figure out a reduced load, because all the powders that I would use would get me the power, but the problem is that the case was so empty, and you have to worry about primer flare. So we fixed it by going with a Magnum primer to make sure that we ignited the powder. But they were talking about stuffing the cartridge and all that other stuff. I just didn't want to get into that.
Putting a wad in is actually a little bit easier than what you think. I've had to do that before, but what would bother me is like those cases for the 300 Win Mag are a specific thickness. Like at a reduced load, is that case going to be able to expand to the chamber and get a good seal? I mean, I'm guessing yours did, but that would be my first thing. I'd be like, man, I don't even know if we're going to be able to run a reduced load in this and get good case expansion and not have gas leakage.
If I can't get it to do sub MOA at 100 yards, then I'll go to another powder.
Yeah, I'm with
I'll
you.
ladder load it up and down if I can't get it where I need it to be. But I have discovered the fine world of shotgun powders and rifle cartridges.
Yeah,
And that's nice to be able to use those little Oreos and stuff a case, because they stuff a case really good because they leave so much space in it, and you don't have to do those wads in there. So that's also nice to do for a Adrenaline mag, or do some red dot or something like that to get where you need to from a capacity standpoint.
Jamie, we were talking earlier about doing a little bit on bullet seating tonight. Did you have anything specific you wanted to show or do first?
Well, the other night, Michael was showing his first loads from for his 5095 and showing some crinkled cases, and it just broke my heart because I've gotten to know Michael and I've kind of helped him pick out some of the stuff that he's buying and for reloading. But that Mammoth rifle he bought, man, that's just gorgeous. And then he tries to make some ammo for it, which he's going to have to make this ammo for that particular caliber. But to see those cases crushed, knowing some kind of idea of what he's paying for that brass, it just broke my heart. And I just can't sit around and not say anything when I see a brother like that I care about having that kind of problem. We just got to come help them out. And the thing about that is you've got to seat your bullet and then crimp if you're going to crimp. And with that lever action rifle, man, you're going to have to crimp.
Yeah.
You can't leave a bullet sitting in there. And yeah, you just got to crimp. But what you need to do, and I don't have anything set up where I can show it, but you've got to what you're going to have to do, and y'all help me explain this to him, is you're going to have to screw your seating die down until it touches the shell plate. And then those instructions are going to tell you, particularly if you're using Lee, going to tell you to go 1/4 to 1/3 more turn. Or is that the sizing die? That's the sizing die, ain't it?
Yep.
Let me tell you what you really got to do. You've got to put your shell in the shell case, and you got to run that thing up. Just push it all the way down. Screw your die down till you feel it touch, till you feel the crimp part of that die touch the case mouth. And once you feel that resistance, back it out one turn, one complete turn, at least one complete turn. Wouldn't y'all say?
Yeah, that's how I start.
Yeah. Then from there, you want to put the seating pin in there.
Yep.
Run your seating stem down until you get the bullet LAL that you want, then back the seating stem back out, and then run the die down until it just starts on that, and then put your seating stem back in.
Yep.
It's hard.
Yep.
We ain't going there. No. You got a guy paying that much for his brass, and he's just getting started. Don't do that.
Yeah, I suppose.
Just leave it like that, and get your bullet where you want it, and then seat all your bullets, and then go back and put the loaded case back in there, and then take your seating stem, the seating stem of the thing completely out, and then screw it down till you feel it touch with it all the way up, and then adjust it till you get the crimp that you want, and then run them all through there and crimp them again. That's the way I do my rifles, especially my 35 Remington. Unless you've got the 4-die set, and then you set up your factory crimp die, and they are great, by the way. You guys that don't. Yeah.
I use 4-die sets to get away from that problem that you mentioned, so I don't have to take out the seating die. And when I do that, the great thing is I'll put the bullet in there. I'll get it right on there as far as when I seat my bullet, I get it at the right height. And then what I'll do is when I put it in my other die, I'm fine. But the beautiful thing about that is you go a quarter turn, and then you take it out and you measure it. And then if it's still not right, then you go ahead and you put it back in and you do it again, quarter turn, and then repeat the process until you get it spot on. No need to ruin some brass. Not saying I haven't done that before.
Yeah, especially when it's high in price like that.
Yeah, keep it high and then bring it down.
Well, no, I was saying just like you said, when the brass is expensive. But Georgia Boy made a good comment. He said, just get the separate dies. And let me tell you, when I first started reloading, 9mm don't cost nothing. I pick it up off the ground in the range like everybody else. And I tried to use the dual die where I seated and crimped in the same step. And I was like, I ain't doing that because I messed up a lot of brass, but you got to have some finesse when you're doing it. So I just bought the separate crimper die, and I've been on the road since. I did load up some successful rounds like that, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah, I went to the range, and the guy next to me was shooting a 338 Lapua and leaving all the brass on the floor. So I picked it all up. Man, you talk about being some expensive brass, That is some expensive stuff. So yeah, rarely do you find anybody leaving it behind. That's for sure.
Okay, this is a 357 Magnum. This is from early on when I was first starting to reload. But can y'all see that crinkled case right there?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you seat and crimp in one step.
Yep.
Bacon said he always crimps first and then sizes, then crimps in another operation. And I have a couple of 3 RCBS die sets where the crimp is built into the seating die, and most of them are. But with the Lee 3 and 4, I think you get that factory crimp die, so you really don't know if it's in there or not. I'm assuming that the crimp thing is still in the seating die. I got puppy dogs, y'all.
Okay, now we got dead air. Anybody in the chat room have any questions or things they want to talk about? We can bring up. None so far. You know what? I saw Andy's video on his what the heck was it? His powder coating with a powder coating gun, where he's just doing the base of the bullets and leaving the cones raw lead. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought the coverage on that was pretty nice. Man, a powder coating gun does a really nice job.
Yeah, it does. We're talking about that on the Reloaders podcast. They were talking about there were some real big misconceptions going on out there. One of the ones that I heard that I thought was particularly egregious was that all we were doing was basically sprinkling powder coat on top of the bullet. And I'm like, no, that's how you end up with bullets that aren't like one of the things we used to do all the time. And I don't hear about this too much anymore is smash testing bullets. I still do it. And what that means is after you get done powder coating a batch, you take one bullet, you take it over to the anvil, and you take a hammer and you beat that bullet pretty well. Not flat. You don't have to beat it flat, but beat on it quite a bit and see if your powder coat's flaking off. And if it is, then you didn't get a good stick. So that electrostatic is an important part of the operation. You're not just covering the bullet up with powder coat and then melting it on there. That's not how it works. And I've seen that before where people have tried that and it doesn't stick very well. So That was one of the misconceptions I heard about powder coating. But I think they did a pretty good job of kind of reeling that back and getting good information out there. I don't know if you guys watched that, but the Reloaders podcast is on. What night is that, Jamie?
Tuesday night, 8:00.
And those guys, a wealth of information out there. And honestly, on YouTube, I think they could stand a couple more viewers to try to get a little bit more involvement. But anyway.
Somebody asked about our case lube that we make, our lanolin oil and heat. I use 10-to-1. I think Kevin uses 12-to-1.
Yep.
And I'm thinking I'm going to step down to 12-to-1 because when I use the 10-to-1 stuff, I leave a lot of oil on the bag. And
Yeah.
I
don't use a bag. I actually use a lubing towel. I spray the tops of the cases, and I just roll them back and forth 2 or 3 times per row, and then I'm good. I don't lube it all the way down. No need to. Never had a stuck case that way.
I use Hornady case lube. It's in a bottle, and I use a pad because I'm old.
Mm-hmm. I started that way too.
Yeah.
I'm old and I'm cheap. So I do it this way. And,
that lanolin's
towels got a
cheap,
little
brother.
bit too.
That lanolin mix is like next to nothing, but
Yeah.
I'm not quite. That I bought I forget how much is in there. It's one of the. It's not the smallest, but the next to the smallest bottle. I think I paid $13 or $18 somewhere around in there for that. But I only use like 1 tablespoon when I mix some up.
Yep.
And this is the first I mixed up, and it was only up to about right there. I mean, I still got more than half of what I mixed up, and I've got so much dried lanolin on my bag, on my plastic bag, that I use that. I just put cases in there and spray some alcohol in there and shake them up. Yeah, you don't get stuck cases. And I've used the Hornady unique case lube, that gel type stuff. That stuff works good. And then the Lee stuff is real good too. That comes in the little tube, the white pasty looking
that's
stuff.
what I use for bullet lube.
Yeah. Somebody was talking about using a 90% alcohol. That's too much water in there for me. That's just I use liquid heat, the heat stuff. With the lanolin you were talking about, I use the heat, ISO heat.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Yeah, it's good stuff. 100% alcohol. The 90%, I have seen some problems with the moisture in there. You know, I got to wait longer to get my brass before I put it in the case feeder. So if I use the 100%, by the time I roll it around, I wait about 60 seconds, and I load it right into the press. When I use the water, I have to almost dry off the cases, which I'm rubbing off the lube at that point. The alcohol definitely evaporates off.
It does.
So Big Al asked a question I want to talk about real quick if I can, guys. Says, what makes the factory crimp dye the best way to go? And it's kind of a complex question because there's different factory crimp dyes.
Yeah.
The factory crimp dye for pistol is basically ensures that your bullet is going to fit into the chamber. It will take off any bell that's left on the case. But really it's a very different type of dye. The factory crimp dye for rifles, on the other hand, that's the one that I say is kind of the best in the business, is a collet style crimp dye. Meaning that as the case goes up into the dye has a ring of collets around there that it will crimp down on it, and it doesn't roll crimp. It basically does it's hard to explain. I might be able to get this on camera. I don't know, let me see.
Is it a taper?
Let me see if I can get that in there. All right. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, so let me go ahead and give this a shot.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you see the collets in there will crimp around there, and it gives it a very uniform crimp, and you have a lot of control over kind of how hard it is. So that's one of my favorite crimp dies, and it doesn't have any problems if you have something like the 450 Bushmaster or the 350 Legend that's going to headspace on the case mouth. The pistol one's a little bit different. I run that for my 45 ACP just to ensure that I don't have any wrinkles in it or that it will certainly chamber. But that's the only one I use for any of my pistols. If you got any questions, brother, on that more, just kind of let me know. Maybe I'll do a video or something on them. I'm not an expert. I just stayed at Holiday Inn Express.
It's kind of like makes a Canalore in there.
Yeah, almost like a compression fitting reminds me of the way that rifle die looks. Now I was looking, since I know Michael's having that issue. It looks like, and they may have it labeled up under something else for it's 5095, right? I don't see it on Lee's site unless they have a dual purpose type crimp die or something. I looked on Lee's site. I don't see it for that caliber per se. Anyone familiar with that? That it may only be offered by, like, somebody else, Redden or who else, RCBS, for that die.
Yeah, I don't even crimp on the bottleneck cartridges, which I told you guys earlier before we started the chat. If it's a bottleneck cartridge, I don't even crimp.
I'm still a crimper.
Above 308, I probably would. 308 and under, I don't.
Yeah, I'm still a crimper, but that's just because I don't do the case prep that would allow me to not crimp.
Yeah, I do.
I'm not going to go in an inside neck turn or outside neck turn and all that stuff. I'm just not that good or patient or whatever it is. If I'm going to load up, and I don't shoot long distances, so I don't have to deal with that too much.
That's what I was going to say. If I'm shooting for long distance, if I'm plinking, then no. If I'm shooting long distance on any rifle, I'm definitely going to crimp. But I've seen some good people doing some good loads and a good rifle workup, and then ruin their shooting with a bad crimp. That's for sure.
Yeah, over crimping, bad idea. Under crimping can cause some issues, especially in autoloaders. Curtis is talking about the factory crimp die for for non-taper crimp cartridges. It does use a roll crimp in there. I don't have one, so I've never used it. I've only used it for the taper crimp, but like I said, it's the factory crimp die is kind of an interesting die because not all of them are kind of the same in function. And Andy crimps all of his, yeah. See, that's what OP says, and that's what I have seen as well. The lanolin tends to make things sticky, which gets on my nerve hole. So that's why I've always used that Hornady case lube that I got. I don't even know where I got it, but I've had it for so long. Like I said, no idea even where I got it. I just put a little bit of that on my pad.
Is it the paste?
No, I'll show you what it is. Like I said, it's so old. It comes in a bottle. It's just like an oil. Case sizing lube 050009. Put a little bit on my little Lyman pad and get to work. But that's the way I learned how to reload. So that's more why I do it than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Reloader 62 says he shoots cast lead and everything, so everything pretty much gets roll crimped in the provided crimp groove except for 9mm and 45 ACP. Yeah, man, good luck. I'm glad to hear that you're able. I've had really poor luck with that, with a lot of different things that the crimp grooves are in kind of a bad spot for me. For instance, and just bringing up one gun, I've kind of beat this horse probably a little bit much. But the Henry requires such a deep seat on all of its bigger bullets to be able to feed properly, then I'm nowhere near a crimp groove. So I've had to get, pretty imaginative when it comes to getting a good crimp on a gun that really requires a crimp, and a load that likes to do a roll crimp. And I'm not going to roll crimp into the side of the bullet. It's not, I just don't do that. So it makes for an interesting situation. I haven't had the luck that you have yet. Yeah, Curtis, that is the same stuff, I bet. It's the same as the RCBS. I'm sure of it. I think Dad has the RCBS, come in the white bottle. I mean, it's from the '80s, so.
I use that same stuff for everything, but for the bullets themselves when I'm sizing them, for the cases, for sizing bullets, just about for everything. Some guys use different ones for different things.
Yeah, I have that Hornady white goo, or not Hornady, that Lee white goo that I use for bullets. I like it. I can put just a tab, a little bit of that into a plastic container with all my bullets and just rattle it around, and it just lubes them all for me. You can also do the Taco method with the Ruhr gloves. Taco did I don't know if you guys saw that video he did with the 10 millimeter Rock Island. A lot of fun, man. A lot of fun in one firearm. I bet you are, brother. I'm a little jelly. Ozark says he's full of pig. Yeah. Cranky, I'm full of Knob Creek. He's lubricated. Little edge rag goes a long way. But I'm trying to consider. This is off the bullet seating topic. I don't know what you guys' opinion on this. I've had really good luck with Hornady powder measures. Like really good luck, and I love the insert design that goes into the metering insert. So it's relatively cheap to have something set up that's more specific to that round, so I don't have to dicker with it so much. But I'm looking at possibly doing a Brass Smith or maybe another Hornady powder measure. I really don't know to go on that 450. And I'm going to build a swing arm so that it'll just run right up top. Why did I get it? I just got a message at Kyle joined, but I don't see him.
He'll be on in a minute.
Okay, so I'm going to build a swing arm that goes across the top of the press to do my powder with. What do you guys think? Do you think it's, run with what you know or try something different? The Dillon powder measures aren't that bad of a deal. It's just that to me they're kind of a pain in the butt to change once you've got them set. What's up, brother?
I'm trying to not be sideways.
Well, Cranky beat you there with a whole belt full of Knob Creek.
That ain't what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
What's up, Kyle?
Hey, Kevin, how you doing, bro?
Hey,
Good, man.
Let me try this again.
hey now.
Should have drank a V8.
Hey, you know what, Nathan? I think you should try it, man, because, and this is my opinion, what if you're successful? It's a lot cheaper than that Dillon powder measure, right?
Well, the Hornady powder measures are I think more expensive than the Dillon.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, the Brass Smith is much cheaper than anything else.
Well, I thought you were saying you was gonna try it with the Brass Smith one.
Yeah, that's what I was leaning towards, but then I started thinking, well, I've got the Hornady stuff. I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those things I'm still undecided on.
But if you tried, let's say with the Brass Smith, and it works, just think about how many people that could help, because I know a lot of people recently have gotten those, and they grow fond of them. That'd be cool to see.
That's what I'm thinking. If I that and having a little design set up for mounting a different powder measure on top of a Dillon probably might not be a terrible idea.
Right.
Dillon mods are kind of an interesting animal. Oh boy, and there seems like more and more people jumping in on that blue Kool-Aid now.
You can definitely pick up some of them powder measures on eBay and other places relatively cheap. You just got to keep looking every day. I pick them up on Craigslist and Letgo as well. And a lot of those guys that have a bunch of Dylan stuff, they realize they're not going to sell it with 12 different 12 different calibrated conversions. So they are willing to sell the calibrated conversions at a good price typically.
Yeah. One of the cool things that Dylan does, and a lot of people don't know this, is you can buy shell plates without calibrate conversions.
Yep.
So if you don't have a Dylan powder measure and you have pins, it's like, why am I going to spend the extra $20? Just go get the shell plate.
Yep.
And then if you get on the eBays or whatever else, you can find those shell plates sometimes for $15-$20.
And they make third-party case sets for it too. So if you have a 550 or a 650, you can get those third-party ones that are nice, even with the caliber in it too.
Yeah, I've got those. I've got one right here, and it's not Dylan, but it's and it's shaped the same way. And I think I got a black one, and I got a blue one, and
That's pretty.
I'm sorry, guys. I can't get the sideways part fixed. So I'll just let you look at my logo. But anyway, I'm here. Had a very interesting evening.
But we're glad to have you, man. We missed you tonight.
Sorry I was late.
No, man. Shit. I'm just glad to see you.
Had my sister's boyfriend's 50th birthday party. And let me just give y'all the background story. I walked in and I had no clue it was going to be this big. I was like, oh my Lord, what has my sister done? There's a house full of people. She's got everything all decorated up. I'm like, oh Lord. So we're all gathered in the kitchen waiting on Joey to get there. And he comes pulling up. And I hear the garage door opening. And we're in the kitchen, and that's where the garage is. And I said, Carrie, is he going to the front door? Oh, yeah, he's coming to the front door. I said, the garage door just opened. And she was like, what? And so I looked around at everybody, said, about face, and everybody turned around and faced the garage door. He opened it, surprise! So that was one part of it, and he was just blown away. I mean, tears were in his eyes. And so he goes around, hugs my sister and all that stuff, and he goes, I'm 50 years old, still don't have a boat. So I don't know what kind of presents y'all brought me, but, that would help. And he said, what would be the best present of all? And he knelt down and proposed to my sister in front of God and everybody.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
She say yes?
cool.
Oh, yeah, she said yeah.
That's genius. It's going to be really hard for him to forget the day that he proposed. He'll remember that one.
And she said, you stole my surprise. You stole my surprise.
Stole my blessing.
Oh, yeah. It was killer. I've been home for a little bit, been washing clothes, and then we're having PlayStation controller problems. So I've been trying to deal with that. Apparently the charging port on the controllers broke, or Xbox or whatever the heck it is.
That stinks, man. I use rechargeable batteries in my stuff, and I just go and plug them into my little Harbor Freight, charger thing.
Yeah,
So
I asked Tate. I said, "What size batteries does it take?" I probably got some. It doesn't. You only recharge it. Don't that suck?
Yeah. I hate proprietary crap.
Yep.
If you cut it open, it's probably got 2 AA's in it.
Right.
Hold on, I got an angle grinder.
Yeah, the charger works on his headphones and everything else. I said, I know these cables are good. Angel uses them when she's over here, and I use them to charge my battery banks and stuff like that. I said, something's wrong with your charging port. No, it just worked at Mom's house. I'm like, okay.
Ooh, awesome stuffed shrimp. That sounds delectable.
Oh, it can't be that bad.
Yeah. I don't know about all. Coconut strip make me feel the same way. Ugh. Why do people mess up perfectly good food with coconut?
It's good, man. It's good.
No, it's not. It's terrible. It's shreds of fiberglass. Why am I putting that on a perfectly good pie? You've ruined the pie.
I agree, brother. That's
It's
just
good when
nasty.
it's fresh coconut. It's good when it's fresh coconut. If it's the dried out stuff, then no.
See, it's because I'm a libertarian by nature. I prefer my pie to come naked. If you want to put coconut on it, you go ahead and do that. If you want to put that cheap strawberry junk on there, you go ahead and do that. But everybody gets the naked cheesecake. That's the way it should be.
I got a question for everybody.
I was 18. I needed the money.
Go ahead, Kyle. What's the question?
He's either donating blood or something else. Go ahead, Kyle.
He froze.
We're listening for your question, Kyle.
I'm sorry, I had to wait for my phone to quit ringing. I'm not answering it because it's work and I have to be there shortly.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that, brother.
Yeah.
You want a note?
Does any of y'all know about the pewter frog?
We talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
No. Who sent it?
Jesus?
Jesus.
I have no idea, man. But that thing is blessed. That is perfect.
I've
I
had
wonder
a
how
couple
He said,
of
"Who
people
sent
with me.
it? Mystery packet."
You ought to powder coat it green and paint it up and see how many bird strikes it gets, you know?
Well, the little hat and pipe are painted, aren't they?
Do what now?
The little hat and pipe are painted on it.
Oh yeah, yeah. The rest of it's just pewter. Yeah.
That thing is amazing. That is perfect. I want it. You know how Fortune Cookie has his little silver cookie?
Yeah.
You now have your pipe smoking frog.
I was like, man, I'm touched. I don't even know who to thank.
Man, it was amazing.
Later,
Yeah.
Good
Bacon.
night, Bacon.
Night, brother Bacon.
Bacon makes everything better.
Except for possum, and nothing makes possum better.
I like
Ain't that bad.
possum.
It's just a little greasy.
I like possum.
No, oh God, humans should
Possum,
not
too.
eat that. That's
Nathan,
terrible.
I have eaten stuff that would make you have nightmares.
No.
Dude, look, there's only one type of animal that I don't or won't eat. That's a scavenger. They eat rotten food, and their meat tastes bad. It's always greasy. Ugh. Now coons you can eat because they tend to eat on. They're omnivore. They'll tend to eat on nuts and whatever when in the woods. If they're in town, don't eat that son of a gun. It's eating trash all day. Possums, God bless.
You ever been hungry, Nathan?
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I have, and let me tell you what. If I have been hungry, I have been really hungry, and a possum would possibly be. I'd eat one if I was starving, but I have seen possums come out of dead animals, and that makes it very difficult for me to want to eat one. God,
You're not really a kind of bug eating kind of guy either, are you?
bugs don't bother me. No, man, bugs are fine. Even bugs that come out of
I hate bugs, no problem.
bugs are fine. It's
If I'm
just,
hungry and it's around, that's what I'm eating.
yeah.
I was going to say, you ever been out in the middle of nowhere, dropped in by a helicopter, and they handed you a pocket knife, said, "Here you go."
Yes,
Yeah.
actually, I have.
On day 4, you start getting a little hungry.
I
Yeah,
do
they get
not-
pretty pissed off when you get your survival train, you come back and you gain weight. You know, they don't like that.
Dude, I'm telling you, Calvin, like that's funny, man, because during survival training, everybody else, like people told me when I got back, you're gonna be so hungry. First night, right there was getting on dusk. I went to the survival guy instructor, and I'm like, so we're able to put out traps if we want? He's like, yep. I'm like, all righty.
10 first.
Yep, 5 o'clock in the morning, man. I'm up. It's still dark, and I collected about 4 or 5 squirrels. I'm like, I'm good to go. I don't know about you fools. You know, yeah, I didn't have near the problem, but I was pretty much feeding everybody between rabbits and squirrels. But no, armadillos are basically anteaters. They are, but they're also the only animal that actively carries leprosy. So
Yep.
I stay
Yes.
away from a possum and a half shell. To be
Yeah, but you cook it, you kill the leprosy, on it, so it's okay to eat.
Yeah, right.
You're
All right.
handle too much.
Hey, man, you ever heard of turtle pop?
I've eaten tons of armadillo over the years and make a great chili with it. And any skin peeling that I have is because of sunburn, not from leprosy. So,
Yeah, how was your vacation, Kevin?
oh, it was amazing, man. I went deep sea fishing, had a good time. Spent a lot of time on the beach, drinking full margaritas and full coladas, and smoking nice cigars. It was good. Good time.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man.
I got a thought for you, Nathan.
Sir.
Coconut covered possum.
Mm.
Man, you know what? It's good to have things like that out there so that everybody else can get fooled.
And we'll eat the roast beef and grilled shrimp. Right?
Yeah. Man,
Armadillo tastes good, man. My armadillo tastes great. And you try it, you'd be like, wow. Same thing like gator. Tastes good too.
I have an assumption that armadillo tastes great, but that whole leprosy thing, I'm like, it's not worth the risk, man. Like,
well, you get from a hog, you
It's like
brucellosis
it
from
sound
a
like
hog.
Vegas to me.
Yeah.
Sound like a
Every
gamble.
animal's got something, man. Every animal's got something. You got deer with the wasting disease. You got hogs with brucellosis. You got armadillos with leprosy. And again, if you cook them and you clean them and you take good sanitary protection, you're fine.
You got
Anybody that
squirrels
bites
with the
into a raw
wolves at the
armadillo
wrong
is no
time of the
problem.
year.
What's that?
You got squirrels with the wolves in the wrong time of the year, and it's like a bug that bites them and infects them
Mhm.
with all kinds of shit.
Yep.
That's
Well,
what we always called it growing up. I don't know what the technical name for it is.
Lyme disease is one of the ones that actually somewhat worries me, man.
That's why we don't drink. That's why we don't drink the deer blood anymore.
Co-
Brother,
coconut possum poppers.
I eat it. I would eat it. I would definitely eat it. I
Hell
would
yeah.
eat some type of dipping sauce.
No,
It's
with
like
a
a mango
jalapeno
chutney or
glaze.
something.
I would not.
Yeah, preacher
Possum
says
nuggets.
possums only carry gravy.
Yeah.
Man, you can have that. I've had all kinds of different stuff. I've had raccoon. I've had all kinds of other stuff, but I just like possum and armadillo. And even though I know, like looking at an armadillo, I'm like that thing probably is delicious or probably really good to eat. But I'm like, I just that whole. If I was hungry though, an armadillo would definitely get it first, dude. I'll tell you what. So I had this thing about armadillos and leprosy for the longest time. Like I wouldn't even get around one, right? Because I'm scared of like things falling off. Then one day,
Just wash your hands before you touch anything you're worried about falling off.
Then one day, I'm in the bathroom at my old place, which was definitely a like wild kingdom, right? I had all kinds of anyway, it was crazy. So I'm in the bathroom and I hear this rustling, and I'm like, "What is this?" And I look out the window, and the leaves back behind the house were moving. I'm like, "It's probably a snake or something." I ignored it. Next day, same thing. Next day, same thing. I'm like, "What is that?" Finally, I went back there and looked, and there were bibbit armadillos. And they had a nest up underneath of my bathroom floor because it was a slab. They had dug a hole and had nested under it there. And she had a litter of bibbies, and they were the cutest things I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, oh, little furry little, oh, they're like hedgehogs, only armored.
Armored hedgehog.
Like a giant
Yeah.
roly-poly.
It's like a combat wombat.
The other thing, if you're in the bush and you got to catch something, it's a hell of a lot easier to catch an armadillo by hand than just about any other animal out there.
Dude, that is definitely true. One of my favorite things that we used to do, me and Dog, is we would come up at night, and when she was to walk, and I'd get her down and I'd kind of hold her a little bit, and we'd walk up slowly. Armadillos getting in the yard, and they get to rummage, and it's hilarious because they make all kinds of racket. So it's digging in the dirt. You just sneak up behind it, and like, hey. And that thing would jump like 3 feet in the air and turn and stare at you and just cuss and run off. The thing was hilarious.
And they ain't very smart either.
They can be pretty mean though.
Yeah, I think it's a false sense of mean, you know.
Well, I can put it to you like this: we were out at the 250-yard range and heading back to check the targets in a damn Dodge minivan. I was in the back with the hatch up with my feet dangling down, and the sumbitch chased me and bit my boot. So I don't think it's fake.
Only possums can definitely be aggressive.
Possum, yeah. I thought you were talking about armadillo. I'm sorry.
I've never seen an armadillo.
No, I was
aggressive.
talking about an armadillo. Some bitch run out of the woods and then chased me down because we were going slow and bit my boot.
You weren't in Texas because I think Texas might have more fierce armadillos than we do.
Yeah.
No, I was directly west of you.
Well,
A little bit north, maybe.
hmm.
Well, a lot north. 100 miles north and 100 miles west.
Boys, it's getting kind of late and we're off subject, so we probably need to start wrapping it up.
Yeah, Jamie, you're right. It's having too much fun.
Too much fun.
I know. Before we start saying our goodbyes, that's a horrible thought to me, George boy. Catching a skunk in a rabbit box. Yeah.
That's rough.
Only thing you can do with that is shoot it and hope you don't mess up your rabbit box.
Just leave the rabbit box. I mean,
You can
Just
get
buy a
another.
new one.
You can get another. Yeah.
shoot the skunk from as far away as you can get, and just leave it out. Just leave it where it sits. Go home.
That's where you
Pepe
got to
Le
prep
Pew
ahead of
never
time.
did anything to nobody.
That's where you got to prep ahead of time. Make sure you have a rope on that so you can pull it from a distance, a good distance.
I couldn't imagine that conundrum.
Right? And I don't think I'd cook and eat a skunk. That's for sure.
No, I wouldn't do that now because I'm not exactly sure where the glands start.
I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that. I might eat a skunk before a possum.
You've done lost your mind.
Possum's good eating.
No, it's not. You guys are lying.
Hang on. I'll say it if nobody else will. You just ain't never had it cooked right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I'll make you some possum tacos to blow your mind.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they would, and my guts blow my toilet. So,
I have a lot of people tell me that deer meat is gamey and wild tasting, and I'm like, no way.
You gotta hang it for a little while.
I've had bad venison before. Venison didn't taste good. But most of the time, man, no, heck no. Venison's
I've had it where it's so tough you couldn't cut it with a dang jackhammer, man, but not the stuff that it's all in the preparation. It's all in the processing.
Yep.
You got to let that stuff cool down for about 3 or 4 days before you put it in the freezer. If you shoot a deer and put it in the freezer the same day, yeah, it's going to be gamey and it's going to be tough. But if you'll let it either hang up in a meat cooler for about 4 days or either quarter it up and put it in a cooler and let's let the ice drain the blood out of it, it's going to be beautiful.
Yep, you're right.
we used to take in a buddy of mine from Missouri. Whenever we would do one of his, is we would do salt bass and milk bass as well, and with the good meat. And man, that stuff came out amazing. That was really, really good.
All I do is quarter it up, throw it in a cooler, pull the drain plug out of the cooler and throw ice on top of it, and just let that, as that ice is melting, that water just takes everything out. And
That's what my brother does. If they remembered it to keep the ice in it.
yeah, that would be important.
Yeah.
Because I've been deer hunting before here where it's been like in the 20s when I first go out to the stand. But by the time
Are you talking 1920s?
Sorry.
Sorry, Jimmy.
okay, as I was saying, in the morning it'd be like 28 degrees. Is that better, Kevin?
Yes, sir.
And then by the time you are pulling your deer up into the bed of the truck, it's in the 70s. And you gotta get something done with it quick, but you don't want to get it processed and in the freezer the same day.
Yep.
A lot of times you have to take it to a processor if it's getting that hot that quick. Just get it in one of those big hanging coolers.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind doing that for a living.
Well, down
They
here it's
used-
usually in the 50s during deer season, so they get quartered up and they get thrown in nice chests immediately.
They used to make a product called Game Tame. I don't know if they still do. That's what I would take when I had a plethora of deer meat. I'd take whole hams and shoulders and stuff like that and put in there. Never the back straps. No. Put whole hams and shoulders in a cooler filled with game tame and let it sit overnight with a little bit of ice. And that totally changed the flavor of the meat, and that made the best jerky the next day. Sprinkled with a little cayenne pepper, and oh man.
You know, it'd probably be pretty good. Take your roast meat, right, and lay it into a bath of like water and some Ozark Spirit. Let that salt get in there, and that. Oh man, I'm hungry. All right, so it's 10:11, folks.
It definitely is. I'll go first, guys. Hey, I want to say thanks for everyone for joining us in the side chat. I want to thank NYC for joining us, being our guest. And that's it, guys. So thanks for all the help and the input. And if y'all in the side chat aren't familiar, all of us on the Reloaders Network, on Headspace and Slack, so y'all can message us or contact us. And a lot of these guys in the side chat. So thanks, guys. Chico Wise from the Dirty South.
I'll hop right in behind you, brother. I'm sorry
Yes,
I'm late. I had some business to take care of, and it turned into even more business. But yeah, I got home and cutting up with y'all in the side chat, and then finally asked Jamie for a link. He sent me one. I'm here. So hey, I didn't miss one. Yay! Thanks, Kevin, for filling my spot.
My pleasure.
You're a wealth of knowledge, and I'm sure everybody got something out of it. And I appreciate you doing that, because I'm usually just the one that's making all the jokes and stuff. So you actually probably taught them something. Thank you for being here, and thank you to everybody for putting up with all of us every Friday night, because we're just relaxing and taking off the week. So shall we speak? I'm out.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, I got to tell you, New York City Reloader, NYC Reloader on YouTube. I got to tell you, I love hanging with you guys. You're my people, even though I'm in New York and I'm behind enemy lines. Y'all are all my kind of people, not just the guys on video, but the guys in side chat and gals in side chat for that matter. Freedom-loving people who love this country and love the Second Amendment and want to preserve that right, just like we want to preserve all the rights. Remember, all the amendments are enforced by the Second Amendment. You don't have the Second Amendment, the others don't mean a damn thing. And it's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to chat with you guys. And I really appreciate you guys making some space for me to hang with you, because it's a highlight for me to hang on these chats and chat with you guys. If I can share some information and learn something, it's always a good thing. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, brother.
Kevin, I just want to thank you for being here again. And okay, Ozark. Kyle, we're glad you finally made it in, buddy. I know sometimes families got to take precedence over what we're doing, but Chico, always great to hang with you, brother. I just this is great. This
Likewise,
is
brother.
fun. We had over 50 at one point, and guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight and every Friday night. Y'all are so faithful. Y'all what makes us want to do this. I still got to get to the range. I got 3 test loads loaded up that I got to get videos done on, and I've got more bullets I need to send out, and just been fun. Thank you all.
Well, guys, so what I got coming up next, I got the 450 Bushmaster test, and I got everything loaded and ready to go. Well, I'm going to do a video on that. I've already got some footage shot. I want to thank Kevin for coming and joining with us. I appreciate it. It's always a good time. If you're interested in the Georgia Shooting Connection 1 year 45 Colt Bonanza giveaway, go on to headspace.thereloadersnetwork.com and either on my section or on the Georgia Shooting Connection group, there's a post kind of with the information. Just go ahead and add your name to that. We'd love to have you. We're going to be drawing for that next Friday night, not Saturday, Friday night. And love to have as many people as we can. Those of you that have kind of like sent me messages and stuff like that and asked about it, but might not have gotten there and put your name in the hat, I'll probably be adding you guys as well. So I appreciate everybody coming out. It's nice to see Kyle for a bit and everybody. It's always a good time. So we look forward to it. We're going to be on next week. I don't know if we have a set solid plan, but we will see you guys then. Thank you, and God bless. Have a good evening.
Night, everybody.